English. My name is Esther.
And my name is John, friends. Today we're talking about English you need.
And the name of our lesson is Where is it? Now, we are talking about giving directions or how to get to a place.
That's right, directions. What does that mean? That is how you tell someone to go somewhere. Where is something is the question for today. And we get that question a lot.
That's right. Now, we're going to tell you more, but first we need to go to our reading.
Can you tell someone the location of your home, school, or office? You can say, my house is at the end of Oak Lane near the gas station. Or my home is between a mall and a park. Maybe someone asks, where is your school? You can reply, it's beside First City Bank, or my school is not far from downtown. People may also ask, where is your office? You can say, my office is across from the high school.
Thank you, John. Yes, there are many useful words we can learn when we talk about directions. But now, let's go to our Find It question. Our question is, when are James and Susie meeting?
When are James and Susie meeting? Okay, let's listen together for that answer and see if we can find it.
And now, let's go to Sonia for today's keywords.
Hello, Susie 星期六要外出，所以请 James 来帮他喂狗。他说他家在 Green Park 旁边 ，It's beside Green Park。接系词 beside 就是在什么旁边。他家对面还有一所很老的高中。It's across from the old high school. 接系词 across from 就是在什么的对面。Susie 家所在的位置很好，有公园可以遛狗，而且离购物中心也不太远。It's not too far from the mall. 形容词 far 就是远的，名词 mall 就是购物中心。附近还有商店加加油站。There are stores and a gas station close by. 名词 gas station 就是加油站。
Hey, James, do you have a minute?
Yes, what is it?
Can you feed my dogs on Saturday? I have to go out for the afternoon and evening.
Sure, I can do that.
Thank you. My dogs thank you too.
Where is your house?
It's at 71 Oak Lane. It's beside Green Park, across from the old high school.
Today, Susie and James are at the office, and Susie starts by asking James a question. She says, Hey, James, do you have a minute?
That sounds like a really funny question, right? How can you have a minute? But have a minute means have some time to do something.
Yes, and often when we want someone to help us with something or answer a question, we might ask them if they have a minute. And James does have a minute. He can help. So she's asking the question, can you feed my dogs on Saturday? Susie needs to go out and she wants James to help her give food to her pets.
That's right. If you are leaving your house for any reason, you can say, I'm going out. That's a very useful English phrase. I'm going out now.
Yes. And earlier, Susie used the phrase can you when she asked her sentence. Now let's go to Sonia to help us with this.
Susie 问 James 说，你星期六可以帮我喂狗吗？ Can you feed my dogs on Saturday? 想对人提出要求时， 与其用直述句直接表达，有时不如用疑问句 Can you 会显得更加委婉有礼。我们来看例句 Can you tell the teacher for me? 你可以帮我跟老师说吗？或是 Can you meet me at 3 o'clock this afternoon? 你可以下午3点跟我碰面吗？
Thank you, Sonia. And Susie is happy. And she even says, my dogs thank you too.
That's pretty funny. Dogs can't really thank people, but the dogs need help. So James asks a very important question for today's lesson. He says, where is your house?
And Susie replies, it's at 71 Oak Lane. Now let's talk about this word lane. A lane is a small road. So 71 is the number of her house, and the road, or where she's located, is called Oak Lane.
That's right. A lane means a road or a street, just like you said. Now she gives some location. She says it's beside Green Park, across from the old high school. Okay, let's talk about that word beside. You could also say next to. It means something is very close.
Right. So buildings are next to each other. I can say John is beside me.
That's right. You could say something like, my classroom is across from the other classroom. It just means there's something in between, like a road. So we learn that the house is across from something else.
Right. When we use the word across, it can mean on the other side of. So if I am standing here and John is standing across from me, then he can be on the other side of the street.
That's right. I hope these are useful. Well, if you see your friend across from you on the other side of the street, be sure to wave.
Now, if you are in a classroom and someone else is sitting on the other side of your class, you can say that person is sitting across from me.
Yeah, that's a great expression. My friend Bob sits across from me in the class. Well, there's a lot more to learn, isn't there?
Right. Try to see if you can use the words we've learned. Lane, beside, across while we take a break. Now it's time for us to take a break. Don't go away.
Let's talk in English. 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
Welcome back. Susie is so thankful that James is willing to feed her dogs this Saturday.
That's right. She says, I thank you, and my dogs thank you. But James needs to know where Susie lives. So she tells him.
We're going to find more as we continue to the next part of today's conversation.
That's a good location.
It is. I can walk my dogs in the park, and it's not too far from the mall.
You're close to a lot of things.
Yes, there are stores and a gas station close by.
So, what time on Saturday?
Can you come to my house at 6 p.m.?
That works for me.
Earlier, Susie told James where her house is. She said it's at 71 Oak Lane, beside the park and across from the old high school.
And James says something interesting. He tells her, that's a good location. A location is
基研，乐敦制药独家玻尿酸科技研发全新极润精致保湿精华，基研史上最高80%玻尿酸，日夜修复肌肤屏障，只要7天，自体保湿力激升21%。极润精致高效保湿精华诞生。
私の排出率2倍です。ブルアカ、私のことも忘れずに。
都没有一点新鲜的吗？
臣妾早就命人以0到7度 C 冷藏直送，为皇上带来天下最新鲜的纯吃茶。低温杀菌，加上全程不透光封存，
保留茶香就是新鲜好喝。
纯吃茶 ，Try it.
Is where something is. And that's a good location is today's calendar phrase.
That's a good location.
That's a good location. 那个地点很好。
My house is on Main Street.
That's a good location.
The park is across the street.
That's a good location.
The school is close by.
That's a good location.
And the donut shop is next door.
Oh, that's a great location.
That's a good location.
That's a good location. 那个地点很好。
It is a good location. It is a good place to live. And we learn why. Because Susie can walk her dogs in the park. Now, if you have an animal, especially a dog, you need to take your dog on walks.
That's right. Walk your dog. I don't know if you can walk a cat, but maybe. And we learn that it's not too far from the mall. Susie's house is not too far from the mall. Okay, what does far mean?
Well, if we're talking about a place, we want to know the distance or how long it takes to get to a place. So if something is far, it means it takes a long time because maybe it's 1 kilometer or even more away.
I see. And if something is not too far, that means it's kind of near. Near is the opposite of far. But we also have another word here, a mall.
A mall is a very good word to learn. If you want to buy different things, then you can go to a mall. A mall is a place where there are different stores and you can go shopping there and buy different things. For example, there might be a clothing store, a shoe store, there might be a place where you can get your hair cut, and malls often have places where you can buy food to eat.
My family loves going to the mall. And James says to Susie, you're close to a lot of things. Susie says, yes, she is close to a lot of things.
And what things does she live close to? Well, she lives close to stores, and she lives also close to a gas station.
I need to go to a gas station when I drive my car a lot. Remember, friends, gas is what you put in your car. Your car needs gas. But where can you get gas?
Well, you'll go to a gas station. Now, earlier we heard this phrase, close by. John used the word near. Close by means near. Sonia, can you help us?
Susie 说，我家附近有些商店，还有个加油站。There are stores and a gas station close by. 副词片语 close by 表示在附近，在旁边。我们来看例句。The park is close by, so we can walk there in a few minutes. 那个公园在附近，所以我们走几分钟就可以到那里。或是 Can you find a seat close by? 你可以在旁边找到座位吗？另外，形容词 close 表示两地之间相距不远，常用 A is close to B。例句 My house is close to the university. 我家离那所大学很近。或是 Is there a restaurant close to the school? 学校附近有没有餐厅？
Thank you, Sonia. Now, James needs to know what time he needs to go to Susie's house so he can walk and feed her dogs.
This is a good question for you, friends. What time? And he says, what time on Saturday? Now, Susie gives him a time.
Yes, the time she gives him is 6 p.m. This means 6 at night. And friends, did you find the answer to our Find It question? Our question was, when are James and Susie meeting?
We just found out. They are meeting on Saturday at 6 p.m.
And that time will work for James. James can make it to Susie's house at that time.
This is another way of saying okay. You can tell someone, that works for me, if you make a plan.
And I might say, John, do you think I can visit your wife next week on Wednesday during lunchtime? Will that work for her?
That's right. And I could say, that works for her.
So use this phrase, works for me, works for him, works for her, to say okay.
Well, friends, we've learned a lot today. I think it's time to review the key words that we learned.
Here is your first key word, gas station. Gas station. He stops at the gas station for gas.
Mall. Mall. Let's go to 2 stores in the mall.
Beside. Beside. Can you wait for me beside the school?
Far. Far. Kim is at the far end of the restaurant.
Across from. Across from. The gas station is across from the bank. Friends, those are today's key words. You are doing a great job. Keep practicing them.
And now it's
your turn.
The key words for today are gas station, mall, beside, far, and across from. Now it's your turn to use them in a sentence. First one. The park is the school. That's right. The park is across from the school. Next. I like to shop in this. You got it. I like to shop in this mall. Next. She stood her father. Correct. She stood beside her father. Next, my house is not from the mall. Great job. My house is not far from the mall. Last one, he drove his car to the... Correct. He drove his car to the gas station. Friends, come back next time for your turn.
Hey, James, do you have a minute?
Yes, what is it?
Can you feed my dogs on Saturday? I have to go out for the afternoon and evening.
Sure, I can do that.
Thank you. My dogs thank you too.
Where is your house?
It's at 71 Oak Lane. It's beside Green Park, across from the old high school.
That's a good location.
It is. I can walk my dogs in the park, and it's not too far from the mall.
You're close to a lot of things.
Yes, there are stores and a gas station close by.
So, what time on Saturday?
Can you come to my house at 6 p.m.?
That works for me.
Hi, James. Do you have a minute?
Yes. What is it?
Can you help me feed my dog?
Ginger, you don't have a dog.
True, but if I get a dog, will you help me feed it?
Ginger, you can't get a dog.
Oh,
I really like dogs.
Hey, I'm taking care of some dogs on Saturday.
You are?
Yes, would you like to help me?
Sure. Where do the dogs live?
On Oak Lane beside the park.
Can we walk the dogs in the park?
Sure, that will be fun.
Yay! Can we bring the dogs home with us?
No, they're not our dogs.
Oh.
鸡盐，乐敦制药独家玻尿酸科技研发全新极润精致保湿精华，鸡盐史上最高8成玻尿酸，日夜修复肌肤屏障，只要7天，自体保湿力激升21%。极润精致高效保湿精华诞生。
先生、お知らせです。星さん排出率2倍です。ブルアカ、私のことも忘れずに。
茶力王四季春茶，无糖无香料，严选台湾春冬茶叶，甘甜茶香，清爽了四季。茶力王四季春茶新上市。
Too bad.
Now let's review our question. What can James do for Susie? What can James do for Susie?
We found the answer in conversation A. He can feed her dogs on Saturday. Here's your second question to review. What is the location of your house? Tell someone. What is the location of your house? Tell someone. Now let's go to our friends and see what they have to say.
What is the location of my house? Well, if you go to the north end of River Street and you walk past a park, you will see my house on the left side. My house is small and it's painted red. Just go knock on the door and say hi.
What is the location of my house? Well, my house is on Pine Street. I live across the street from the post office, and it takes me 10 minutes to walk to the closest supermarket. I wish I lived near the subway, but my house is far away from the subway stop.
What is the location of my house? I live near the old museum, right next to a convenience store, which is very convenient because if I'm hungry late at night, I can just come downstairs and go there for a snack.
What is the location of my house? Well, I can't tell you the exact address because then thousands of people will come and try to find me where I live. But I will say you have to drive down a big road and then turn left down a lane and then turn right down a little alley at the end. That's where my house is located.
What is the location of my house? Tell someone. My house is not too far from a 7-Eleven. There are many parks and grocery stores around my house too. And I live across from a nice hair salon. Are you able to guess the location of my house?
All right, we've learned a lot. You can tell someone if your house is far away or the opposite, if it's near. Keep practicing the English from today. You're doing great.
And try to use the words we learned today. Do you live beside a school? Do you live near the mall? Do you live near a gas station?
Well, friends, it's up to you now, so we'll see you next time to learn more English.
Right here on Let's Talk in English. Bye-bye.